All right, dude. I'm fucking jacked up on smelling salts and fucking Buffalo Trace. Let's do it, dude. Are we good?
Again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We solid?
Yeah.
Because I'll bring it in sometimes. Sometimes I get a little fidgety.
I think we're good. Here we go.
Okay.
You ready?
I was born ready. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Military Men Minding Their Own Mental Mania while Uncle Gary got buck wild and watched Rambo while boozing it up on some bourbon episode of the Days Grimm. My name is Brian Michael Day.
My name is Thomas Grimm.
What's up, dude?
Not much, just...
God bless you. Damn, can we drop that music a little, dude? All I can hear is the intro music. I can't even hear myself now. Maybe you turn my headphones up a little, too. How are you, sir? You doing okay?
Yeah, I'm doing fine, staying warm.
It's fucking
Had
snowing.
to, rob 2 homeless men on the way here for some jackets.
Jesus.
Wasn't prepared.
That's fucking not good. That you don't probably say that. Or admit to that.
If they die, they die.
like the Russian in Rocky. Was it Rocky 4?
If he dies, he dies.
He dies. Who played that guy? Dolph Lundgren? Fucking stud.
I'm not sure.
Fucking stud. Yeah, man. So no Drew this week. You're running. You got the wheel.
Yeah.
You got the ship wheel
went
this week.
to some film competition.
Yeah, I thought
in Thailand.
Yeah, I thought it was like a film retreat in Thailand.
Yeah, something with boys.
Yeah, or LBs. You know what I mean? That's what they call them on the street. But anyways, dude, so I guess just help me welcome into the studio this week. Morgan Hauer.
Thank you very much for having me.
Did I get it?
You got it right.
Fucking crushed it, dude.
Hell yeah.
How are you, man? Doing good?
I'm always a Hauer. Thank you.
Nice, dude. I don't know what that means. You're always a Hauer?
Morgan Hauer. So
okay. I got you.
Because as we talked beforehand, so it has been a problem for as long as I can remember the pronunciation of the name. So the best way I describe it to people is to be able to say, how are you? How are you?
Sick,
Hauer.
dude.
So it's, or you just go to Jack Bauer, but with an H.
Nice.
Great show too. 24.
I have actually only seen, I think, 1 or 2 episodes of the first season. Never seen anything else from it.
That's the show where like an hour in Showtime is an hour in real time, right?
Yeah.
I never watched it.
It's
It's like
good.
a crime show.
Yeah.
I hear good things. I just have never actually spent the time.
When it came out, it was a hit.
Yes, it was a big thing when it came out.
I'm more of a first 48 kind of guy.
Oh.
I like knowing that, A, someone's died in a mysterious way, and B, there's a time hack on like how long we have to figure it out. That shit gets me jacked.
So, you're wearing a Warrior Mojo shirt. You want to give our listeners a brief elevator pitch of who you are and what you do?
Absolutely. Well, as I said before, my name is Morgan Hauer. And let's see here. I am originally hail from Minnesota.
Oh, sick. Dude, you have a very Minnesota look to you.
Oh, yeah, you betcha there, yeah.
You do, like in a good way.
I'll take it.
Like a very homey kind of like...
It's the Minnesota nice that's coming out of this baby face.
Like a pleasant look.
Evansville winter doesn't have shit on you then.
It does not, no. But...
I watched some Minnesota area news today while I was at lunch. There was on the TV, and they were talking about if you go outside for more than 10 minutes, there's going to be frostbite. So I'm glad I see you got all your 10 fingers.
I do. Because luckily or unluckily for me, I left before I was 3. So my family was kind of family moving around the country a bit.
Traveler.
You
can't say anymore.
I can't.
No, that's what I've been told. All the blogs online are
so
saying.
what do they call the?
They're travelers.
The Romanians that
they are.
Oh, okay.
They are.
Fine, all right, a traveler.
Politically correct, I think traveler is the proper term now.
I'm going to have to correct my vocabulary now.
We cut you off earlier, but so you're a Hauer. You're
Yes,
from
I am.
Minnesota.
Yes,
so what
I am.
else do you do?
What else do I do?
Yeah, elevator pitch, man.
So what else do I do? I would consider myself a wannabe bodybuilder, as well as a low-key entrepreneur. That is actually what Warrior Mojo is. So I started an apparel company back in 2017 that was targeting military individuals, also fitness enthusiasts.
Okay.
And what I did kind of backwards was rather than build up my social media first, I just created the brand and then I started to do social media afterwards. So kind of in the backwards kind of way.
Reverse order.
Yeah,
But I feel like that
it might work.
You said you started in like 2017.
Yes, I did.
I feel like that's what like a lot of people in our like age range did around like that like from like 2016 till like now. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of people like created a brand and then
Unfortunately,
started to push the brand.
yeah, unfortunately, like everyone and their mom has created an apparel brand in one form or fashion. So the market is definitely saturated. But I've just done it as a side hustle. I've not tried to do it to like make millions of dollars because I chose the wrong side hustle to do if that were the case. But no, I just enjoy doing it, doing different designs again that are more like military themed or friendly, or again for fitness enthusiasts. That has been my main target demographic, so to speak.
Okay.
So yeah, I've been doing that since 2017. So I'd consider myself, you could say, again, a low key entrepreneur.
When did you start your YouTube page? Congrats on 1K subs.
Thank
by
you.
the way.
Oh yeah. Dude.
Thank you. That was just over the week. Yeah. So when did I start that? It was actually, I think I took the handle back in 2017 with the intention to start making videos then, but I did not. So I actually didn't start really. Yeah, there we go, 2017.
Nice.
So I actually didn't start doing videos until 2022, I think. And because I had moved away for a while. And then when I moved back in 2022, I was like, all right, I got to get this thing going. I got to get Warrior Mojo social media up if I want to do anything with this. Because it's something I really do enjoy doing.
Oh, yeah.
And so I started to make some connections and wanted to do some collaborations with different people. I had a lot of ideas for videos. Unfortunately, in 2022, I switched, or I actually joined the National Guard, because I've only been with the National Guard for, again, under 2 years. Prior service before that. But when I joined, I then was suddenly, there was a deployment that came up and they said, guess what? You're going.
Sick, dude.
So I was like, ooh, well, I'll have to put this Warrior Mojo YouTube stuff on pause. So while I was overseas, obviously I didn't do very much there. I did a lot of shorts.
Yeah, I was gonna say I saw
Because
a handful of Instagram.
Yeah, because
posts
that's the thing, of course, that's trendy, is the shorts, which I'm not the best with them yet, but I do simple things like quotes of the day, because that's something I enjoy. So
Was this on base?
To be what you
yes,
might
it was
have
actually.
been.
That was on base.
I hope you have a great day.
Nice.
You know,
dude.
it's never too late to be what you might have been. I hope you have a great day.
That's so Minnesota of you. You know what I mean? That's so fucking. You're like too nice. I think
I
immediately.
have been accused of that before. I have been accused of
like
that before.
Too good of a person so
Yes,
far.
I usually, if I get into a relationship, I stick around way too long until they leave me. I confuse the red flags for the circus.
Reading the room,
It's something.
Got out of the Marines, enlisted in the Army.
Yeah.
We're gonna dive into who you are as a human being here shortly, but
do.
before we do a deep dive on you, which will last 45, 50 minutes or so,
Whatever you like.
we like to do this little ditty called the Death of the Week.
Okay.
Tom.
The Death of the
Come on, Daddy. This week's Death of the Week brought to you by Thedaysgrimm.com. Check out our mediocre website and snag you an even better t-shirt. It helps us keep the lights on. And for all of you that have gotten t-shirts, fucking love you. This week's Death of the Week, I'm going to do my best here. Go back to the top. I'm going to do my best here. Lost death footage of Thai actor 1970. So we're going throwback here. Was an actor from Phetchaburi, Thailand, who is often regarded as an icon of the country's cinematic golden age. Zoom me out just a little. Okay, now moving on forward. So the fatal fall. In 1970, production began on what would ultimately turn out to be final film, In-Si Thong, or Golden Eagle. The film was notable at the time of its production for being the first film himself produced and directed, as well as for featuring the return of In-Si Dang, the Red Eagle, a a popular crime fighter character played by who had previously appeared in the 1959 film Chow Naklang. I'm doing my best here. Gangster Lord is what Chow Naklang means. On October 8th, 1970, as part of the final day of shooting, a scene was to be shot for the film's closing sequence in which Red Eagle climbs upon a rope ladder hanging beneath a helicopter before being flown off into the sunset in true action hero fashion. However, when it came time to film the scene, the helicopter flew too high above the ground for the rope ladder to be properly climbed upon with... I know I'm not saying that name right, but I'm trying, guys. With only being able to reach the bottom rung of the ladder with his hands as the helicopter began to take flight, was left dangling perilously above the ground with nothing but the bottom rung of the rope ladder to hang on to. The helicopter pilot was unaware of this and thus allowed the helicopter to continue its ascent, with eventually losing his grip and falling to the ground, being killed instantly upon impact. His death would prove to be another significant blow to the Thai film industry in 1970, occurring mere months before pioneering Thai director collapsed and later died of a died of a coronary while giving an impassioned speech in support of Thai filmmaking. Call it a twofer.
Yeah.
That's a 2-for-1 special right there, dude.
That's yeah.
Okay, so let's get into it.
They got shit on Hollywood.
Tell you what. There's two things in the industrious world that have always blown my mind. One is the Chinese Industrial Revolution that took place in the early 1900s / 1940s, 50s. How that took off. If you want some good reads and you want to know a little bit about Chinese infrastructure and why their air pollution is so bad, start there. Secondly, this isn't technically a third world, but like Bollywood in India and like Thailand film and stuff like that, like they have no regulation. They have no regulation. A lot like the Chinese whenever they had their Industrial Revolution. There's just no governing body that tells you what you can and cannot do. It's wild. Blows my mind. So I think that's what leads to this homeboy.
Weren't walkie-talkies invented before 1970? Like, you don't have somebody watching like, hey, he's only on the bottom rung, don't take off. Like,
Well,
it's an oversight. That's an oversight.
or however they say it in Thailandese. What do they speak
It's just
there?
Thai. It's just Thai.
In Thai.
Thai. Thai. I don't know. I've always wanted to go to Thailand. Have you ever been?
no,
Morgan?
but I would like to go.
I hear it's beautiful. Super clear water. But you got to watch out for the LBs. Like we talked about. You got to watch out for the LBs
Gotta watch
because
out.
they'll sneak up on you.
Isn't it? You look at the hands and the and also the Adam's
throat.
apple, I believe.
Check the throat region for a significant bump.
Yes. Although the very few interactions I have had, I mean, when I was in San Diego, and I was with a buddy, and we were walking through a certain area of San Diego. There was one woman that approached me, and we were chatting for a little bit. I was fine. And then she walked away, and my buddy was like, "Dude, that was definitely not a woman. That was definitely a man."
That's an LB.
I was like, "What?" I would have no idea until later on. If I don't know, taking advantage of me.
It's an intriguing time that we live in. You know what I mean? You just find all kinds of cool shit out there. I mean, depending on what you're into. So if you're into the LBs, dude, like this, you're thriving right now.
Yeah.
You're thriving.
Oh, sure.
Your time.
Dude, I think it is wild. So I like the movie The Hangover, right? And there's a scene in one of the Hangover films, I believe the one that takes place in Thailand, where they're like talking to these like super, super beautiful women or whatever at this one point in juncture, and then like all of a sudden they're talking all feminine, and then their voice drops and they're like, "But you owe me $20," and it's like, what the fuck? Like, God damn, that would be terrifying.
Right.
I'm not into it, but like I could see how it could be deceiving. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
That's wild. So, what was his name? Really, took one for the team, for the Thai film industry.
Yeah.
So
right.
maybe don't film any movies in Thailand. Hopefully
Right.
it's gotten better.
So, where did you move to after Wisconsin? Like, where'd you grow up?
Well, it was Minnesota.
Or yeah,
That's okay.
Yeah,
Wisconsin is enemy territory. That's the cheeseheads over there.
Yeah, dude, that's an
Green
insult,
Bay
bro.
Packers. Pff, what are we talking about?
Never heard of her.
Yeah, no, it's fine. So
They're
from
packing what?
no, from Minnesota, it was Utah and Utah to Kokomo, Indiana, where
Fuck
there is nothing there.
You were the only white guy there.
Was I?
I don't know.
Kokomo is a deceiving name, by the way, because it sounds like a beautiful place.
It is not.
Like the
not.
Beach Boys sang about it, but different Kokomo, folks.
Yeah.
Different Kokomo.
To me, in my head, that is the image of like quintessential Indiana. Though it's just cornfield. There is nothing.
Yeah.
You just look around. Although apparently it has boomed since whatever in the last 20 years or so.
Nice.
So I mean, I guess I've not been there in a hot minute.
My favorite part about what we do here is that I like to shit on different cities that we talk about.
Oh, respect.
And I knew a girl. Actually, this came up in a podcast not too long ago. I knew a girl that I went to high school with, and she wound up moving to Kokomo. I don't know if because she got pregnant she moved to Kokomo, or she went to Kokomo and got pregnant. Long story short, through some dialogue that I later had with said individual, I found out that Kokomo ain't shit. There's nothing there.
There isn't.
Yeah, that's a real bummer. What's better? Are you familiar with Mount Vernon to the west of us?
Yeah, I'm familiar.
What's better, Kokomo or Mount Vernon? Neck and neck.
Neither.
Neither.
Next question.
Yeah,
Mount Vernon. It's fine. That's all I can say. It's fine.
Which city did you live in when you went to high school?
Here, actually.
Okay.
Newburgh.
Oh,
Newburgh, Indiana.
you're a knight,
Well, actually, so
Castle Knight.
I was actually homeschooled, believe it or not.
Oh no, okay, it's everything's making sense now.
Is it now?
Everything's
everything's come
It's
together.
all coming together, dude.
I had the choice when I did hit high school. My parents did give me this. Like, did you want to go to Castle? Do you want to go to a high school? And I was like, nah, I'm happy. But as I got friends. I'm socialized enough. I mean,
That's interesting.
yeah.
So I have a good friend of mine who is homeschooled. His name is Robert Bergner. I don't feel bad for saying his name because he won't see this, but it's wild to me. Like sometimes, like the social disconnect that homeschool children have, they compensate for in their knowledge. Like if you're homeschooled properly, if your parents legitimately care about your well-being and your knowledge intake, I just feel like homeschool kids are they're so much more ahead of the curve.
Or they have like one specific thing that they excel in.
That they're
like
good
if they
at.
play guitar, they play guitar really well.
Robert
or-
Bergner plays guitar and he's exceptional at playing guitar, but he's also good at like math. Like he can do long division in his head. He can do shorthand math on the fly 10 times faster than I can. He could tell you 527 multiplied by 15 like now. It's crazy how good he is at math.
I am definitely not one of those homeschoolers.
Okay, nice.
So
okay.
I feel there's no like middle ground, at least homeschoolers, at least for the generation that I was a part of, because I feel it is more, I won't say mainstream now, but it's more easily accepted since the plague of 2020
Yeah.
that people going to homeschooling, which is great. But I don't recommend it for everyone. Like if I had kids, I don't know if I would do it, honestly.
What was gym class like being homeschooled?
Gym class.
Was there a
there
gym
was
class?
there was really no gym class. When I was in
Were you still like into fitness and staying in shape somehow though?
No, actually, I despised going to work out in any kind of way. The only thing I did sport-wise in high school, middle school was martial arts. I did Taekwondo and Krav Maga. That was my only physical
Nice.
outlet because I tried like not softball, baseball in middle school. I had terrible coaches for both seasons. I hated it. I was that was the only physical fitness thing I did was martial arts.
Well, that
Because there aren't any really pictures of it now, thankfully, of like when I was in high school. I was just skin and bones. I looked like malnourished. I was like from Auschwitz with this look as well.
yeah.
So
Shout out.
It was bad.
Yeah, man.
You might see. I might have shared something when I started my fitness journey up above. Yeah, scroll up a little bit more. Yeah, you're gonna have to go a little bit. more.
And we're on, just so everyone listening knows, we're perusing through Morgan's IG right now,
Mhm.
which is pretty impressive. Damn, look at those shorts, boy. You guys are,
Hey, and shout out, we got Ranger panties also.
Mhm.
yeah, dude.
You know,
We're gonna have to probably blur
That-
this image.
Maybe.
I see some nut hanging out, dude.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I mean, you might have to zoom in, but they're there.
yeah, somebody's covering
that-
some
that
with
was
a pocket.
actually-
You know what I mean?
That was in Jordan. in that was 20.
Dude, shout out to the Jordanians, man. I respect the shit out of Jordanians, dude.
Yes. After going there, I did too.
They're fucking tight.
They are.
Yeah, they're fucking dope.
Did you learn to speak any Arabic?
No.
Salam
maybe
alaikum, walaikum salam.
Okay, I got those, but I mean that's about it. You might have. Did you pass it? I think so. It was a few. It was a few pictures. Was the option.
But you started this like physical fitness journey about how long ago?
Only about 8 years ago. So I joined the Marines.
And what made you? Where was this gap from like graduating high school, being homeschooled,
We're doing
to
it.
like enlisting?
We're doing
like,
a bad
what
job
led up to you enlisting from
of the
homeschool?
timeline. Yeah, we try to keep it on a timeline. So homeschool to Marines, like how does that transition even happen?
A great question. So my dad, he was in the Marines back in the 80s. So I mean, we could go to say it was a family thing, but I was not. He never was trying to tell his kids that, oh, you guys need to join.
So your house wasn't like crazy, like make your bed as soon as you get up, like toothbrush has to be a certain way. Like he didn't carry over any like military traditions into the house.
Depended on the day, maybe. That is a great question because I was told by other, specifically homeschool kids, friends, like when they would come to visit and stuff, they'd say, oh, their parents are very strict. And I never saw it that way. But at the same time, they say, "Oh, your parents are also oddly enough cool." So it was an interesting blend of things.
Yeah, 'cause you don't hear that too often. Like
Almost.
your parents are strict, but they're fucking dope.
Yeah, that weird
I mean,
dichotomy.
I mean, I could probably spend a whole several episodes trying to talk about being raised and how that was like. But no, where was I going with this? So he was in the 80s, and he wasn't in for very long because he got bored because there was nothing happening. So I mean,
nothing to kill.
Yeah, there was nothing to kill. It was peacetime and just nothing.
Yeah.
Or I get outside of the impending possibility of nuclear war in the 80s, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, we were still
nothing the Marines were going to go and try to solve right away.
we were still Cold Warring at that point.
Yes, exactly. So, but growing up, I heard his stories. Being in the Marines, he was very proud of his service, and I mean, it's very clear in my head different stories that he shared with us multiple times because they never got old, and it was also oddly enough a little jealous and envious of these stories. Like, man, why can't I have those kind of experiences?
So he got to travel and see the world, though.
He did not actually. He was stateside the whole time. Again, another reason that he was bored and like he's like, I just can't do this.
So what was it like that first week? Like so like the SEALs, they have like Hell Week. Like what did the Marines have? Like
so there was not a Hell Week for the Marines because the first few days are in processing. So I mean, there's a little shock to the system. The traditional, you get on the drill instructor gets on the bus and scream at you, "Kill my yellow footprints!" And they move along from there.
Yeah.
We had there's a word for it. It's a couple weeks in, and it's on a Friday. I can't remember. But in the first week, you meet your actual drill instructors that will be with you for the whole time. And that's obviously intimidating and scary and cool, all this mix of things.
Yeah.
Marine boot camp is fascinating. I wish it really needs to be studied better in the sense of how it breaks you down, builds you up. It essentially becomes Stockholm Syndrome because by the end of it, you're, preaching the Marine Corps and nothing else. Everyone else is trash.
I think I saw a video where they gas you guys and you have to sing Happy Birthday like while you're getting gassed.
Oh, yeah. Everybody gets gassed.
We didn't sing Happy Birthday, but yeah, we went through it. I mean, the Army goes through it too. I think every branch has to do
So you
the
got
gas
through
chamber.
It twice.
I had to go through it twice.
Did you? When you went from the Marines when you went from Crowns to MREs?
Yeah.
Did you have to get gassed again for basic training?
Not for basic training. So I actually did not have to go to Army Basic.
Oh, okay, nice.
If they said I had to, I was like, man, it's not worth it.
I'm not going.
I was like, I'm treated enough as a kid, anyways. When you're wearing the uniform, I'm not going to go back to being treated as an infant.
Are there any?
Can I put a cliff note here? I want to dog ear where we're at in this conversation, only because I have a killer gas room story. Okay. I have a killer gas room story.
So do 6 million other people.
Jesus fucking Christ. So that's dark. But okay, here's fucking enough of your Nazi talk, dude. We're gonna get put on a list. They're gonna blacklist us from YouTube.
For sure, those salts.
Do you want the salts again?
I see the drones coming in.
You got hands?
Kobe.
Yeah, he does.
Okay.
But anyway, so my gas room story is phenomenal, by the way.
Yeah.
So my basic training, basically, we get to the portion. It's like you're several weeks in. Yeah, stinger, huh? But you're a couple weeks in when you do the gas chamber, and it's like a little shotgun house. Like you've been through it, so you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And then they have like this little hookah in the middle of the room that they burn the cesium tablet on, or whatever the tablet is.
So it'd be like a dry sauna.
It looks like a hookah.
Sure,
It
we'll call
gets-
it a dry
it's,
sauna.
It's really smoky in there though, and it's all this gas.
Yeah.
But it's burning off of what looks like a giant hookah tower in the middle of the room.
That's a good explanation.
But anyway, so this hookah tower is going, and we're walking in, and we're sucking dicks immediately, and they have us like surround the room, so you're surrounding the table, and then they give you a list of instructions: take your helmet off, put it between your knees. Okay, you do that. Then they say take your gas mask off, put it in your helmet between your knees. Okay, so you do that. Now you're breathing the gas full force, and then they say recite this whatever, and then you do this. You do several actions. If you fail to conduct the actions accordingly to their standard, they march you all out when it's all over, because it's, again, a shotgun. So in one way, out the other. They march everyone out, and then there's two lines that form. The folks that fucked up and couldn't do the instructions properly, and the folks that did it properly and
Are
they're
your
done.
instructors in mask and everything
They
this whole
are,
time?
yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I did everything the right way. But this stuff is so potent, and you can testify. Like
Yes,
it's mucus just pours out of your face. You
Yeah.
can't see your
Snot
eyes
running,
Yeah,
eyes running.
You can't see because your eyes are filled with tears and liquid, and just like it's terrible. But anyway, so like I conducted everything in the way I was supposed to, and I was supposed to go to the file right. And because I couldn't see when I exited the building, I was like looking down, clearing everything out, like blowing shit out, that I went to the wrong fucking line. And then when I finally could see and realized where the fuck I was with all the fucking, misfits, basically, the
The
guys that-
LBs.
all those fucking, for a lack of a better word, you know what I mean? The guys that couldn't follow instructions.
Yeah.
That'll get beeped, by the way. But with all these fucking, then I'm like, oh fuck, I'm in trouble. They're about to make me go through a second time, because that's where the degens go. They just have to go in and do push-ups and run around and do dumb shit.
Right.
Well, I'm in this line. I look up at the DI for you, or my drill sergeant.
Right.
I was like, hey, I'm in the wrong. He was like, shut the fuck up, and he's just like, mate. So I had to go through a second time because I couldn't follow the final instruction of which direction to go. So long story short, I was tortured twice, and it fucking sucked.
So you make it through the training process and everything like that. Now, I know when a lot of Marines make it through, they go to like Japan. Did you have to go non-stateside as soon as you finished?
Actually, I might have fucked it up by not saying it. So when I joined the Marines, I joined the Marine Reserves.
Okay,
so I actually
you were stateside.
I did stay stateside. My unit
Okay.
that I was with for almost 6 years was in Kentucky. Before I did a unit that was in Minnesota, actually.
Sick.
Yep, sick.
Back to the motherland.
Back to the motherland, and that actually was that was a great unit, and again, it made my impression of the Marine Corps completely different. It's like, oh man, everyone here is so great and nice and welcoming. It's like, oh, this is just home. This is just home.
Yeah.
But no, so I did not have to go to Japan, because you're right. In my class that graduated, at least not boot camp, but actually graduated the MOS school, the military occupational specialty. I would say it was like 70 or 75% of them went to Okinawa. And then the other, we'll say another 15% of them went to either it was Pendleton or Lejeune.
What was your military occupation specialty? If I may ask.
I hesitate to tell you, because then you'll be thinking less of me. But
Oh,
I was,
dude, were you a cop?
I was an MP.
You're a fucking narc, dude.
I knew this was
I'm fucking done with this
Like, go to our
interview.
Instagram
Yep.
messages and delete some
Yep,
things.
no association.
Yes,
Yes,
that's why he's cool with this show. 'Cause
Right.
he's like, I'm not going to be talking about drugs because I'm a narc, dude.
Right. No, so
I've seen enough of this show. I know what I'm getting into.
so when you get the idea for Warrior Mojo though while you're in the Marines, correct? If I'm following the
Yes,
timeline.
it was a couple years after I joined. So actually, if going along with the timeline and kind of what you guys were asking before, so I obviously joined the Marines. I hated fitness.
Did
but
you
I was,
start? So like when you join the Marines, you start getting into fitness. Do you start getting into like mental betterness then along those time? Like you're looking up quotes and stuff. So like, are you
Absolutely.
listening to podcasts, reading more books in that time?
Well, let's see. This being 2015,
podcasts wouldn't have been huge then.
not as
but-
big. No, I did get into like a lot of YouTube videos and a lot of like motivational stuff from there.
Oh, yeah.
I also, but for me, I still was hesitant with any kind of fitness related stuff. With the Marines, because I was about 70 pounds less than I am right now. I was good at running. So like with the Marine like fitness test that they had at the time, and they still do, we'll say the three main things as far as pull-ups, crunches, and running. That's part of like a physical fitness test that they run.
Mhm.
And I was good at running because I was smaller, and I was okay with the crunches, but the pull-ups I was terrible at.
You guys didn't do push-ups?
Oh, I mean, we did that, but it wasn't
Like
part
for
of
the test?
No, not for the test.
Oh, no way. The
Yeah.
Army is just
They
sit-ups, push-ups, run.
Mhm.
Or it used to, the APFT used to be.
Correct.
Now
Which
it's
they're
different.
actually they're trying to go back to that actually.
Yeah, they changed it now to where like
It's
you have to do like buddy lifts and you have to
Yes.
like carry somebody for so long.
yes,
Like,
the
fucking
ACFT,
stupid.
the Army Combat Fitness Test. They actually stole a little bit of thing from one of the Marine Combat Fitness tests.
Don't fucking do that.
But I'm going to do it.
I see what you're doing here.
I'm still proud, even though I'm not there anymore.
Yeah, he said they're stealing from the.
But no,
from the
it is a
Marines.
longer test. But I
Yeah.
mean, it's good in the sense it gives people an advantage as far as with one event they might really suck at.
struggle.
Yeah, so they
Yeah.
can make up their score a little better.
Compensate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But so with the Marines, with those that basic stuff, again, I sucked with pull-ups. I could barely do, we'll say 3 or 4, which was a passing score essentially. So actually, when I was in for a little over a year, I was done with all the training. I was back home. I had my unit that I went to, and I was actually going to school at the time, just community college, Ivy Tech.
Okay.
But at the time, I was like, okay, I want to improve on the next test, my pull-ups at the very least. So I want to do like 10 pull-ups. That's in 3 months from now. So I did start to go to the gym. Just again, basic stuff. I didn't know what I was doing. I watched some YouTube videos to get an idea what I was doing.
How to get better at your military test score?
Yes.
YouTube videos.
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
were looking up stuff like
Honestly,
that.
yeah. And so I
okay.
started to do that, and I fell in love with the process because I started seeing those newbie gains.
Yeah.
And so I started to look into more of just I kept going back to what was like just bodybuilding related workouts.
Yeah.
And even though I was itty bitty at the time, again, I started to obviously progress and grow, and I just fell in love with that process.
Can you use gear in the military?
No,
No,
you cannot.
that
It
is-
is
that is a-
completely illegal.
That is a no-no.
I fucking still love using the word gear. By the way,
It's
you saw the Natalie
I did.
interview
Yeah.
that we did.
Yeah, yeah.
She,
You kept throwing the gear.
she brought this term, the gear, to me.
The
So now
gear.
it's like I feel like I'm on the streets every time I use it. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
I feel fucking.
That's definitely the street talk gear. What gear are you on?
Dude, I'm in third. I don't know where are you guys at.
Neutral, bro.
I'm just revving the motor, dude. No, but an interesting. So before we lose track of the boot camp and the beginning of the military journey, have you seen now where like, and then we'll progress from this to you transitioning from Marines to Army, but
My transition.
yeah, when you to one to the other, have you seen now where like, at least with the Army, I don't know if it's with all branches, but in the Army they're not doing the shark attack anymore.
I did see that.
Have you seen that?
I have.
Do you know what the shark attack is? That's what it's notorious. I'm sure you've seen a clip of it when the young kid gets off the bus with his 2 bags that he has, and then immediately it's like the drill sergeants haze you, and they're just screaming at you, bah, 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 and they're just making you do push-ups, and if you drop your bag, you got to do more push-ups, and they're like, run over there right now, and blah, 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 and they're just screaming at you. Well, it's like a really hectic
I think
introduction.
you talked about this where they're like, go get a colored ball, and if you get the wrong colored ball
Yeah,
or something
they
like
just
that.
fuck you 6 ways to Sunday, dude. They
Yes.
don't give a shit.
No.
That's how it was when I was in. I saw a clip not too long ago where like now they like hold your hand getting off the bus and they're like, hey, the check-in table's over here. My name's Gary. Let me know if you need anything. It's really like cordial and calm compared to how it used to be. And you've seen these?
I've seen the
You know what I'm
videos.
talking
Yeah, I know
about
what you're
now?
talking about.
For the Air Force, it's always been the same. So like it's not changed.
What was it like when but like Warrior Mojo started when you were in the Marines before you transitioned?
Yes.
So, like-
because I joined in 2014, the Marines, the end of 14.
And you started Warrior Mojo in 2017.
17,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
So what was that like when like you get the idea to come through this? So like, I mean, were you watching like Andrew Huberman or some of the other like like Jocko or any like, were there any of those guys coming up on the scene, or like do you watch like Andy Frisella or like any of those type of guys?
I know the names you're saying. Jocko is the number one that I know who you're talking about. The
He's
other
a
ones, I
Sil,
just know
yeah.
the names.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I've seen them. No, I honestly, it was more probably fitness YouTuber related stuff that was influencing me, not as
Okay.
much military. Are you like familiar with CT Fletcher?
Oh, Big Daddy CT.
I love that guy. I
didn't
love
know
that
Andy
guy.
Frisella is like a YouTuber now. He had the #1 business podcast for years, and then like he's transitioned more to like this political fitness.
Oh.
Did Fletch die? Is
No.
CT alive?
No, he almost died again. I
He's
guess.
the one that said like when he's doing curls, he's like, I command
Yes.
you to move.
That's the one.
yeah. And he's
no,
yeah,
but he
dude's
is
tight.
definitely.
Yeah, I know CT.
This is no disrespect to him. He's definitely lost. Yeah, he is a beast. I mean, his videos from like 2015, 2016 are gold. I'm not trying to say that his videos now are bad. It's just he has lost a lot of his gains because he had to change his diet. He had a heart replacement again, and so he's definitely had to slow down.
Hold on a second. Time the fuck out real quick.
Yeah.
Homeboy had multiple heart replacements?
Yeah, because before he was a popular sensation on YouTube, he had that was part of his story is that he had a heart replacement, but then I believe had another one a couple years ago. Pretty sure that's what it was.
Dude, how many leases?
2005, he underwent life-saving
that was
open heart surgery.
And then a heart attack in
episode of Joe Rogan Experience. He suffered another heart attack in 2017, but got a heart transplant in 2018.
Well, dude, and this is the thing that is scary with like these ultra. You going again? I'll do it,
bro.
Jeez. Oh boy.
That's the thing with these like YouTube physical fitness guys, like the extreme guys, like the guys that are clearly juiced. It's very, very scary once you start abusing the I'm just going to call it what it is, steroids.
Yeah.
Like when you start abusing and you start seeing these unrealistic gains that they get. I mean, these guys are mongoloids. They're just, you're putting your body under so much duress, like your bones, your blood, your heart, your liver, your kidneys. Like it's a wonder more of
And
them.
it's a perfect balance too between like if you're doing just testosterone replacement gear versus like not taking any estrogen with it or anything like that.
Yes.
No,
I might as well jump in with
no
this.
hoorah, no.
No, that one went to the dome right there.
He's like you're like one of those like
Hold it together. Tighten up, Morgan.
Oh, I'm good.
Tighten up.
I'm good.
Tighten up.
So what makes you switch from the Marines to did you go Army or did you go National Guard?
National Guard.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what made you make that transition?
What a good-looking question. And that is a long story, but I will summarize with
Let me just be clear, because I can't hear out of my left ear after smelling those salts. Did you ask him what took him from Marine reserves to Army reserves?
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
I think I'm barely here right now. So just, all right. And your answer.
No, that's all good. So good. No, so I'm trying to think of the short version here.
Oh, dude, we still got like 30 minutes, man.
Oh, yeah. But
do it. Crush
honestly,
it.
no, the honest answer is it was a mix of things. One was opportunity. There was not as much opportunity with, again, my MOS and where I was at with the Marine Reserves.
Being a pig.
Yeah.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
Go ahead.
I'm only joking, dude. I'm only joking.
I know. It's all, at the end, we poke fun at each other with different branches, but at the end of the day, we're all part of the same brotherhood.
Wouldn't a Marine
Yeah,
pig be
100%.
like a boar?
It might be. Like a big, like a large pig.
You know, all pigs, like if you let a pig outside into nature, it becomes a boar, like it'll grow husk and everything like that.
Life.
Like a regular pig
Life.
escapes from a farm, a year later it's gonna have tusk and crazy long thick hair.
I believe it's Jeff Goldblum who said life finds a way.
Finds a way. Shout out to Jurassic Park. Also, an extremely entertaining book by Michael Crichton, I think.
Yes.
And shout out to
Yes.
them bringing the woolly mammoth back.
Did you ever?
Very soon, this year, they're going to have another woolly
They're
mammoth.
impregnating
An Afghan
I thought I
or
saw
an
something
Indian, an
It's-
Indian elephant.
Indian
I
elephant.
thought I
Yeah.
saw something about that.
Yeah, it's going to be intense. I think
They're
gestation.
pregnant for like 3 years.
Yeah,
though.
their gestation is 21 months. Did you know that?
No.
So she might be pregnant now because they
No,
said
the article I looked up said they're inseminating this year.
this year. Okay. So it'll be 2025. We'll have a fucking real life woolly mammoth. However,
hell yeah.
since he interrupted the answer to your question so rudely, he's very good at that. Transitioning from, reserve Marines to Army reserves, where's the
what's
connect
that
there?
process like?
I had considered it actually a few different times. So I mean, when I signed with the Marines, it was for every contract you do, your first contract with the DoD, no matter what branch, unless you are special, is an 8-year contract. Typically for active duty, it's the 4 years active and then 4 years in the IRR, the inactive ready reserve. So if World War III, breaks out, they can, call you.
You're the first one that gets called.
Yeah. But for me, with the Marine reserves and with a lot of reserves, it's 6 years in that active reserve component and then 2 years in the IRR.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
So when I hit the end of my 6 years, I was married at the time, and my unit was planning to deploy to Cuba, actually.
Sick, dude.
At the time, I was like, ooh, hell yeah, I want to go with my brothers. Yes, we've been waiting for this forever.
Yeah.
And again, my wife at the time, she was like, I don't want you to go. I can't trust you by yourself when you're over there. I was like, anyways. So
Hold on a second. To her point,
Didn't that Cuban
have you
guy
seen
get stabbed
Cuban
in the
women?
ass?
Cuban women are.
You make an excellent point.
They are fucking.
Ana the Armas, is that her name? The actress?
Can you Google her? Anna who?
Ana the Armas, ARMAS.
Anna.
Not like I've never Googled her before.
Well, I need to know.
She was in No Time to Die, the new James Bond movie. She was also in
This one? Aramis?
it's Ana, like ANA, and then Armas. Well, should be. Yeah, there she is.
Yeah, de
Cuban
Armas.
Spanish. Those aren't even good pictures of her. Well, they're good, but. Oh yeah.
Shit.
Yes, sir.
You cannot beat a Cubana. You know what I'm saying?
No.
They are fucking.
Absolutely not.
They are fucking gorgeous.
Muy bien.
Yeah, fucking bonita. Muy delicioso. Cuban guys is the first thing.
Wasn't there a Cuban guy that got stabbed in the ass? Wasn't that the Cuban guy?
Oh my
Who
god.
was the guy they stabbed in the ass?
How did we get here?
Death of a dictator. That was in Libya.
How I wonder. Now we're in Libya. Jesus Christ.
You remember seeing that video where they stabbed the dictator in the ass and he died?
This is the Days Grimm, everybody. So welcome to where Thomas just
I thought
derails.
it was Cuban. I'm sorry.
So you get the opportunity to go to Cuba, and your wife's like, "Fucking no, you're not."
Yes, and then because as you have described me as well, I'm nice, and I'm also someone who has a hard time saying no.
Yeah.
And I was hard time saying no to her, so I said okay. So I was into the 6th, and I didn't have to go. I was not obligated because of my contract at the time.
You say you rescinded the 6th?
No, so I was not obligated. Like I did not have to go on this deployment.
Oh, okay.
Because I was at the end of my 6th. Like it was at the
your
very
6th
end.
year. Gotcha.
So they were like, "Could you please come? Could you please come?" And at first I said yes, and then I said no because I got to deal with family. Well, anyways, a long story short, I didn't go. I got out a couple weeks after I got out. She left. She left. So yeah, I can't make this shit up.
That's a fucking loss, dude. That's a lose and a loss.
It is what it is.
God, I'm sorry, dude.
No, it's fine.
You could have been with a fun Cubana,
So then
you know.
I could. So I actually tried to. This is.
Hey, wait, coach. Put me back
Put
in.
me back in, please. So I
I'll carry
actually.
the boats.
I contacted the unit. I didn't talk to the right person though. I talked to a different first sergeant, and essentially, I was told, even though I was asked, "Can I please go in?" Surely my paperwork hasn't been filed away, and I was told, "No, you can't go. You left us when we needed you." Rah. So rah. So so a few months later, I made the process. I got essentially back into the Marine Reserves, and that's when I switched over to the unit in Minnesota.
Okay.
So I didn't get to deploy with the Marines, sadly, but I got to a unit that was a really solid unit in Minnesota, and I was with them for the majority of that year. And then I ended up going on what's called ADOS orders, which is essentially temporary active duty orders.
Okay.
And that was in Lafayette, Indiana, recruiting with them.
Also, we just interviewed somebody from Lafayette.
You did?
Purdue, right? Isn't that Purdue?
Yeah, Colin Holzbacher.
Yeah, Holzmeyer.
Yeah,
Colin Holzmeyer. Shout out, Colin. Fucking hope you're doing good. But yeah, no. So you go to Lafayette.
I go to Lafayette.
Pretty great town, from what I've heard.
It's all right. I mean, if you like the college scene, then it's your place.
Yeah,
absolutely. Me, it was like it was all right.
Okay.
But I was only there for a few months, and then my orders, unfortunately, with ADOS orders, they can get essentially cut at any time. That's part of the caveat with it. But whether it be funding or you look cross-eyed at your sergeant major, they can just go away. And so
individually, it's not like they're cutting orders for 20 people at once. They could just cut you by yourself for any reason.
Yes.
Nice.
And again, this is me compressing the story, but that was essentially what happened. and then I was again it dropped. It wasn't. I was not like given back to my unit in Minnesota. I was now past. I was into my 7.5 year point. Either way, I was dropped back into the IRR. So if I wanted to keep doing Marine stuff, I had to go almost through the process of getting back in again. So I was like, you know what? I gave the Marines a second chance, and this didn't work out for me. So and
then they shit in your pocket.
Essentially,
yeah. They were like, open up those dungarees. We're gonna take a dookie in it.
I have to give credit to the master guns I had at the time. Like we're still good friends, and he's like, man, you got shafted. I'm so sorry. I was like, I really wish you could still be up here with us, and so I gotta give him credit. But then after that, I came back here, and I was like, you know what? I mean, I still would like. I would like to try the National Guard. It's been a couple of my buddies who had gotten out the same time I did, and after that 6, they switched over. One of my best friends, he.
What do you mean they switched over?
Well, they transitioned from the Marines to the Guard.
Okay, nice.
And so. One of my best buds, he was in Kentucky. He switched over. He told me, "Man, you need to switch over. It's a completely different beast, but it's still the military. So you have that you're missing."
The guard is the one that like responds to like national emergency, right?
Correct. Yes, they do.
Okay, so like when Hurricane Katrina fucked up New Orleans,
that's right.
Guard was down there fucking holding them tight.
And even, I mean, again, since it's state funded, they do obviously everything in state. Like I think I believe when the tornado hit in Evansville back in, was it 2005, 2006, 7? Either way, like when we went through like Newburgh, the Guard actually went over there to help like clear out the debris and the mess, I believe. Is just an example of the local Guard here.
That, and you kind of breezed right past it real quickly, but I think that's one of a lot of people don't understand the difference between the Guard and National Reserve or National Guard and the reserved branch of militaries.
Yes,
the biggest difference is that the Guard is state funded, and the reserves are federally funded.
That's correct.
So that's kind of the biggest disconnect that a lot of people don't even actually know about. Like, so
what happens when you get deployed though? Is it
you won't
state
deploy
funded, or is it nationally funded?
They don't typically deploy guardsmen or women.
My sister was in the National Guard, and she got deployed to Kuwait, and you got papers to deploy while you were in the National Guard.
I did.
So this happens. Well, I didn't know this.
Yes, I mean it does happen, but it doesn't happen too often. Again, it's like they almost I won't say bid for like a state to or
it's like contractors bidding.
Kind of. From what I understand, again, I'm still learning since I've only been with a couple years. But I just happened to. They were the unit, the battalion in Indiana here, the 163rd. They had not deployed since I believe it was 2011. It's been a hot minute. So they've been, I think, trying to get on some kind of MOB for a while, and they essentially got into the rotation in Iraq to do that. And
now
so,
MOB.
Mobilization.
Oh, mobilization. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what happened there. And I heard about it coming up, which was one incentive why I switched over, because I was like, okay, I didn't get to deploy with the Marines. Surely I can deploy with the Guard.
And honestly, your likelihood, I feel like,
God bless you.
Thank you. Every time we open a beer, we have to say God bless you. It's
I respect
thing
that.
we do.
I respect that.
But yeah, I feel like your likelihood to deploy would be higher with I guess the Army, maybe. I don't know, but maybe
for the most
not.
part.
So how long were you in the National Guard before you got papers to deploy?
I was actually in for not maybe 3 months. It is a funny story because I joined, and then I was essentially told, "Don't call us, we'll call you."
If I could stop texting me, bro.
It's like a first date. You know what I mean?
Stop texting me, bro.
Yeah. Which I mean, on the military side of things, like fine. I mean, I won't say nothing.
Yeah, I'll just hang back, dude.
Because I was told you'll go. Yeah, you'll go. And then it was like the couple days after I swore in with the Guard, they said, actually, we're a little NCO heavy. I don't know if you're gonna go for.
We didn't even talk about rank. So you're 7 years in. You're an NCO at this point. You're an E5.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Yes.
Dude.
Thankfully I was able to keep my rank from the Marines over to the Guard. Apparently, that is an issue that happens pretty frequently.
If you're an E5, I do know this for a fact because in basic training, I had a couple of where they may have not been Marines, but they were E5s in their previous branch.
They might have been Marines,
and they went to my basic training, but they didn't do shit. They just they didn't have to go through the gas chamber. They just sat around, and they were like junior leaders basically. But one of them was bumped down to an E4 promotable, and I didn't even know what E4P meant at that time.
What did he do?
He wasn't a corporal. He was just a specialist. But like they just got bumped. Like when they transitioned from.
Did your access of, well, I guess being a military police, your access of guns, like, so like, well, like when you're, in my mind as a civilian, as a civilian, I feel like the Marines have access to like maybe like higher powered sniper
Absolutely
rifles or
not,
something
because
like
they
that.
are the least funded of all the branches. So they have just the cheap shit. I mean,
Did
just
you
like
have to
a
do like
basic-
any crazy, like hold your breath for certain periods of time, or is that like all SEAL stuff?
Wait, what?
What are you talking about?
Yeah,
Just
what-
like in his room, he has to hold his breath.
No, for like the Marines, I feel like they have to do like.
No, I mean,
Isn't there like water tests? Isn't there like water tests for the Marines, or is that just
no?
the
There
SEALs?
is. There is no. Actually, well,
You
it's-
guys do swim in the Marines.
Yeah, we do, because the Marines are a department of the Navy, the men's department. Notice how I snuck that in there. No, so
dude, fuck the Navy. Here we go.
Yeah.
No, that's gonna upset several of my veteran friends that are Navy seamen. But go ahead.
Come at me.
DM me, bro.
I like that shit. No, but there is a swim week at like Marine Basic, and it's very I mean, it's very simple. It's unless you're what they call an iron duck, someone who just can't swim at all.
David Goggins.
Right.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Prime example.
It's very simple. I mean,
it's possible though. That's a lot of people don't realize this. Like, if you're bad at swimming, and like if you just get in the pool and you sink, like you can still combat that. Like if you become a good enough swimmer, no matter how dense your muscle is, how fast you sink to the bottom, because that ultimately what decides whether you sink or float. But if you're super dense and you just sink to the bottom of the pool, like you can become a good enough swimmer to where like that's not a factor. Like you can be a good swimmer and be super dense.
So where are your papers when you get them?
Where are my papers?
Where do you get deployed to? Like you said, 3 months into the National Guard, you get deployment.
So I went to Iraq. I was.
Where did you fly out of and fly into?
Fly out of.
Yeah, where'd you leave? Like I flew out of Maine.
I'm trying to remember. So Oklahoma, because I went to Fort Sill.
Sick.
I went to Fort Sill for the.
I'm just trying to picture a map in my head. Where does that make sense?
So I went to Fort Sill. We did as our pre-mobilization for the training specifically for this deployment, because deploying with a field artillery and infantry people, it had nothing to do with either one of the infantry. Yeah, I got plenty of that while I was over there. And then when they found out I was MP, I was like, "Oh, fuck you!
Cross
You
rifles.
ruined our parties."
Cross
I was
rifles,
like,
baby.
I wasn't a basic MP.
Cross rifles, baby. That's all that matters.
There you go. And
Blood
the
rifles.
Blue cord.
Yeah, blue cord, baby. Fucking blue cord till I die.
So hey, I respect that. I mean, I never will have one, but I respect it.
It's all good. It's all good, bro.
Yeah.
I have mad respect. I talk a lot of shit to a lot of folks. Being an infantryman and having deployed and actively done my job, I have a lot of respect for like people that leave a branch and like suck a bag full of and they're like, "Man, that sucked, didn't it?" And then you get out and you're like, "What could I do now? I'm gonna suck more in a different branch." That's a bold. That's a bold move.
It wasn't
bro.
like it wasn't sucking as big of a, but it was like multiple little
Yeah, it's like multiple baby dicks. You know what I mean?
dicks. Yes,
That's what the
100%.
Army is, man. It's just
It
a lot.
is.
It's like fucking machine gun baby dicks.
Yeah,
but like,
I just like balls in my face.
I have a lot of respect for somebody that leaves one branch and goes to another. It's like you sucked here enough. Like, why do you gotta go? You don't have to. But
So did
I'm
you fly
just
into
like-
Germany?
I'm just a glutton for punishment. What?
So when you left the States, did you land in Germany first?
No. So when we left the States, we actually went to Bulgaria, was where we first landed, and then we went from there to Kuwait,
nice.
and then from Kuwait it was into Iraq.
yeah, you just drove from Kuwait to Iraq, or
Yep,
no?
just in a long drive.
Was it really?
No.
Well, I only asked because I met a bunch of guys in Kuwait when I landed there, and they were just like parked there. They had like a whole convoy, and they just like
No.
drove from Iraq to Kuwait.
Thank goodness there was, I think, so we were split up into, I think it was 6 or 7 different sites.
And so everyone knows, Kuwait and Iraq are neighbors.
Yes.
Like they touch each other. So I'm not just like pulling this out of my
No,
ass.
you're not.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
not.
yeah.
I did not thankfully have to drive. We flew in because I was in Erbil, Iraq, which is the north side of the country. So actually, I'm very happy I was there because the weather wasn't as bad. Like it wasn't as just
Blistering.
yes, like not, you could at least breathe a little bit.
Yeah.
Because when we got there, it was in end of October, So it was actually
cooling down.
It was cooling down.
Yeah.
I mean, like I would say the winter. Like in December, January, it was like the high of about 60 something.
God damn, that's nice.
Yeah. So I was like, you know what? I was like, this could be a lot worse. And then when we left in July, I mean, that's when it was getting hot. I mean, and I didn't reach its peak yet. I think we had a couple of like 113, 14, 15 days.
Yeah, and so I was stationed in my full-time duty station was in El Paso, Texas at Fort Bliss.
Oh, I was there briefly.
Yeah.
When we started our deployment. Yeah.
One of the biggest bases on the North American continent.
Yeah, I didn't realize how big it was until actually being there.
It's 2 different bases. It's huge.
I'm sorry we were stuck there the whole time.
I loved it. I hated it and I loved it.
So what did you do on base in Erbil?
So I was on. It was a CRAM mission actually, and you might see it from my IG, but also if you look up CRAM, it is a big gun. It was originally with the Navy, but they have been starting to integrate it.
Oh, I've seen this. This is the infrared.
So one of these auto target a civilian plane, and then they the civilian plane was flying and it locked on. They were like, no, and then it went down or whatever.
Yep. So that
Christ.
was so. What I did when I was over there, we ran shifts. It was like we had multiple of these guns on the site. And it was me and another soldier that were at the gun, essentially.
This is like the poor man's version of the Iron Dome.
Yeah.
I don't know what the Iron Dome is.
Well, it's over Israel.
So, it's a big gun that goes brrr.
Okay, like an A10 Warthog type situation.
Sure.
It
was a fascinating weapon system. I mean, again, I had seen pictures of it like this. But I had no idea anything about them until we were.
Can you look up a clip? I want to see this thing in action. Can you find a clip of this?
They also have all kinds, if you've seen any of those fake military videos, or they're like, U.S. shoots down airplane over this area, and this is the footage. They're all from this military simulation game.
Mute the audio too, because I don't want to blow our eardrums out.
You
mute the
just
audio until we. Yeah,
this barrage of deadly bullets comes from CRAM. It is a land-based phalanx weapon system developed by Raytheon to counter rocket, artillery, and mortar shells.
That's like straight out
it
of the
uses a
textbook.
multitude of advanced sensors and systems such as Ku-band radar, sophisticated thermal imaging, and computer systems to
Gatling gun.
automatically search, track, prioritize, and block a target.
And it tracks the
in 5
airplane and
seconds.
shoots
You're not getting away from that.
20mm Vulcan Gatling cannon that
20
fires
millimeter.
4,500 rounds per minute, which can destroy incoming targets within a 1,000-meter effective range.
Remind me again, what's the noob tube on the M4? Is that a 40? Is that a 40 millimeter?
American embassy resides. It could successfully.
I don't want to say it because I don't want to be wrong. That's a great question, though.
I think it's a 40 because I never had one in Afghanistan.
Really?
But do you know what I'm talking about? The noob tube. I think that's a 40 millimeter, so half the size of that.
You didn't have one in Afghanistan?
Yeah, I didn't. I wasn't a team lead. I was briefly, but team leads got the 203s.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I think they're 40 mils, so half the size of that, and it's shooting that fast. Holy fuck, that's terrifying.
Like I said, it was a really cool weapon.
Did you
system.
ever activate? Did you ever shoot something down?
Unfortunately, while I was there, no. The only time we shot it was doing what they call a pack fire, which is a maintenance fire that you have to do about once a month.
Just to make sure everything's moving.
Yeah, but no, we had a few times. The gun slewed tracking stuff all the time, but it's because we were next to an airport. So every time a plane,
that does happen.
So I mean, you're sitting there or whatever, waiting for something to happen. Suddenly you hear because there's one person that's in the gun. Like there is what they call a doghouse. It's not. It's barely a closet size room with the computer and the screen. And you have one person in there is what we had, and one person that was off in a guard shack right next to the gun.
Yeah.
And so you're in there, and suddenly you feel the whole thing shift, and you're like, oh, and you feel the gun slew, and you're like, oh boy, are we about to take an engagement? And then it stops and slowly slews back.
And slew is like lock on basically, or notice. Or,
so basically, the person in the tank gets an image, and they have to decide on if this is a threat or a civilian craft.
Yes. However, we did not. It was actually not at the gun that was decided. It was at another location where people were in charge of actually looking at, we'll say, a few more screens.
Did you guys have an eagle's nest? What did you guys call it? Your lookout station.
Oh, the eye in the sky. I can't remember what we called it. We had a giant infrared camera, but it's probably similar to that.
At our site, we didn't have that. We had, again, we could see what it was. We called it. Trying to think again if what I'm able to say and not say with it. But the
They
again,
could see the camera.
Is it?
yeah, they can see.
that it was
and you
using.
could see, and like I could see the camera and see what again the gun is seeing.
Yeah.
But it was I could not like make the call fire
Right.
unless I went through a few
Do
things and pushed
the
fire.
CRAM? So I have on the screen pulled up. Like the Iron Dome has a 3-part, well, really a 4-part system to where so the enemy rocket's fired, and then so it's a 3-part system set up to where like they're kind of branched out to where it's got the receiver that detects the enemy rocket.
The radar.
Yeah, and then it sends this to the control signal, which is elsewhere. You know, still they're all within like 3 football fields of each other, and then that sends it to the launcher that intercepts the missile itself.
Oh, and that's an actual missile combating
they're-
another missile.
yeah,
Oh.
and they're
Intriguing.
rapid fire.
This sounds
cool.
like the same system to me, but just with bullets and not an actual
and
missile.
Even the missiles have trackers in
And
them.
honestly, dude, fucking in American fashion. You know what I mean? It's such an American fashion system. Like, I can't kill you with one missile, but I'm going to kill you with 1,000 rounds of 20 Mike.
Oh yeah,
You know
absolutely.
what? In like 4 seconds.
Yes.
I'm going to fire 1,000 rounds of 20 Mike at you in 4 seconds. If you don't die, then, you know, I failed.
So, did you get to like go off base at all on like?
In Iraq?
The location I was at.
Not really.
Not a whole lot.
Frowned upon?
I was I was frowned upon. It just was one of those things that you could not go. There was a few instances where people were able to go, but I'll say it was more tasked out, and that's probably the most I would say.
And what year is this again that you're in Iraq?
This is end of 2022 through summer of 23. So just last year.
Dude, that's so fucking disappointing to hear because
Yeah.
basically, I mean, ISIS is a threat.
Yes.
Always
Yes.
over there, especially in Iraq, because they're trying to commandeer control of the country. But Iraq itself, in the last decade, has come so much farther to becoming like at least a first world country, like a second world country. Like, they're not a third world country anymore. They have colleges.
Yes.
They have college campuses. They have
Is
elections.
Iraq where we pulled out super fast?
There's girls. Yeah. Well,
Or
no,
was
we were
that
there for a while.
Afghanistan?
But they're like the women there, like the teenage and like young 20 women. They're allowed to wear what they want to wear now.
Yeah, same
Like,
in Dubai.
it's like a civilized union now.
So
That's a shame that you couldn't like leave base and experience like the bars and like the cool night stuff they have.
And like what's crazy too is like it's harder to bring souvenirs back. Now.
Yes, they're pretty strict. Coming back with what would you call?
We call them trophy guns.
Well, definitely
yeah,
could
but I
bring
mean,
those back.
like you can't buy like this prayer rug.
Yeah, there was. I mean, so the base I was at, it was an international air base. So it actually was pretty cool in the sense that we got to interact with some other countries like Germany. What was it? Yeah.
Probably a fuckload of fucking Jordanians over there.
I'm pretty sure I saw them at one point.
Was there any cool like culture things that you like thought was interesting while you were over there?
Again, we didn't get to experience too much of the culture as much as I wish we had.
You didn't have. What did you have? Those people that were like local people that came on the base.
Yeah, just locals. They would like multiple. Yeah,
we had those.
Local
We had those.
nationals that would come on base.
Yeah, like almost doing contract work for cheap.
Yeah.
Was non crazy for the first time?
What was crazy?
Non footbread.
Did you ever have naan?
I did not actually.
They make it there
Wow.
with their feet.
No, I did not get to have that.
What?
No,
Tastes like pizza dough.
So you have to look this up. I made a friend when I was there. He was from the Philippines, and he
Sick.
they made Filipino bread. I can't remember for the life of me what it was called.
Filipino bread. Just Google that.
Bread. Yeah,
See
look
what
it up, and it's it was a like specific.
Is it Pondasai?
That
Pondasai.
I think that's right.
Pondasai.
Either way, but he and someone else were making it there. That was delicious. Like, I told him, it's like, I have to now go to the Philippines and find a Filipino wife. And he was like, no. He's like, no. You do not want to marry a Filipino wife. He's like, they're crazy.
Dated a Filipino girl in
Crazy.
El
Checks
Paso.
out.
Dude, she was fucking tight, dude. She was ride or die. Filipino women are sick. They're fucking sick. No, but that being said, like in Afghanistan, I got to try naan, and it was great. It's a shame you missed out on that. But then,
Yeah, I did it.
I just didn't know because like I was looking through some of these buildings in Erbil, and like you see like this fountain, like this looks like it'd be cool to see.
I tell you, I mean, yeah, I wish we could have gone out and about. I mean, there was, again, one night it was, we'll call it a supply mission where it was last minute, me and a few others, we had a convoy. We took stuff from. We were going to take a few trucks from one location to the other. We didn't quite make it there because we had to turn around. I don't know if it was for a threat or if they just canceled. But either way, that was the most I got out into Iraq, at least that area. But we drove through the city. But that's honestly the most I got to do. But I got to do that more. That one time was more than what most of my other people who I deployed with got to do.
We had a military
crazy.
police on previously too, and he was talking about like gang. I'm pretty sure
Who was it?
we've had the two on.
Oh, it was the airmen. It
Yeah.
was the mullet airmen. God, I'm struggling. I meet so many people.
No, that's
Asa Cox.
So we had
yeah.
him on, and he was talking about like gang violence on his base, but I believe that was in Texas.
That was
correct?
that was in America.
So when you were an MP, was there any crazy party or any weird situation that you had to break up?
So actually, interestingly enough, with the Marines, they have two kinds of MPs. They have PMO, which is the traditional one that you see on base at a gate,
At the gate, yeah.
who break up the fun times that the infantry guys are having.
Yeah.
That's a traditional MP.
Real bummer.
Real bummer. You also have then what are called field MPs. At least this is what they used to have. And those field MPs trained to attach to infantry units, like we'll say when they were deployed to Afghanistan and Iraq, to for one keep them in line, but for two there was a lot of like
100%.
But if we even think about like back to like Fallujah doing house to house, street to street,
Yeah.
there was a lot of site exploitation. So they'd go in there, they grab computers, they grab different materials, and the MPs were more in charge of doing that. So that's more what I was in with on the reserve side. Most MP reservists are those field MPs.
Snag and grab kind of guys.
Yeah. So you're gonna hate me for this, but like each one
I don't hate anybody.
No.
Dude.
I'm about to say because each one of my commanders came from the infantry side of things, and they said we're gonna be mini grunts. And
yeah, fucking hate
I told.
Fucking
So
hate that.
we did a lot of training that was what they said was infantry style. But no, as far as I only got to do like PMO, that kind of traditional MP stuff only a couple times. Like there was again what they call AT, annual training, like those 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Did an air show in Cherry Point, North Carolina, and that was just the basic MP stuff. And when I was there, I got to go with what we call a Blueberry, a civilian contractor who was there as a police officer. And that's I'd say the most exciting story I had is we had to go to this house. The husband, who is the serviceman, he was out of country, deployed, whatever. The wife, there was 2 kids. The wife, I guess, was just blackout drunk, and this happened all the time. So child services had been called because this has happened multiple times. So we had to escort child services on there to get the kids and take them off base and escort them. So I would say that's the most exciting story.
Was there ever a tight butthole situation when
Clenched
you were
up
in Iraq?
It's funny you asked me that because I just had a conversation with a friend asking me that same question.
Like
In Iraq,
up.
there was a few times when we'll say the Sikh shelter alarms went off.
Indirect fire.
And so we were hoping. Part of us were hoping, oh boy, finally an engagement. This is what we were looking for.
Yeah.
Because like it was my SOG was at my gun visiting. The first time it went off, I believe it was the first time. Checking in, making sure we're doing okay, and then suddenly we hear an alarm. Wait a second, is that the shelter? Oh boy! And then the gun like slewed. We're like, yes, finally, it's coming in. And then nothing happened.
Is there a lot of recoil on that CRAM? I mean, clearly probably not the same as a mortar.
No one's shooting it. It's automated.
Well, yeah, but you're still gonna have recoil from.
Yeah, can you feel like the gun like
the whole?
the earth?
I mean, it's moving. The whole mount, we'll say, pretty good, but not enough to where like you just like shaking around.
Do you think it sounds like that gun that they had the Afghans had in the mountains?
it's a no, it sounds more like if you look up an A10 Warthog, because I believe the A10, I believe that's the same weapon system, because the A10 Warthog is a 20 mic as well. I would, if I was a gambling man, I would
Another
say
Gatling
that
gun.
I would say that is the same weapon system, just automated and not on an airplane. But that gun is so fucking obnoxious, bro. It's just yeah, and then there goes 10,000 rounds in 2 seconds. It's insane.
How long were you in Iraq?
9 months, 10 months.
Nice.
I think a pretty traditional deployment length.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then you come back to the States, and then and so the contract you're on now is the same contract, right? You didn't leave and get out.
Correct. Yes, I'm still.
You're still
I'm
actively in the
National Guard.
National Guard with the
Yes.
Army.
Yes.
Okay, and then let's talk about you coming back to the States. So you come back,
Mhm.
and now you're like, all right, I can finally focus on this this project, that you've been kind of dreaming about, this Warrior Mojo.
Did you carry like a notebook and write down like
Ideas
ideas or keep
or-
a journal?
When I was in Iraq, I did actually, because I had a good amount of, I won't call it downtime, but when we was waiting a lot, I did write down a lot of notes, a lot of ideas for whether it be videos or even design ideas. I had a graphic designer who I was making designs while I was over there, kind of, I don't say backlogging them, but having them ready to go. Like some of the stickers that we handed out, like those were stuff being made while I was.
Yeah, and yes,
Some
thank
of these
you.
right here.
Yeah, go ahead and show them on your camera, please.
Yeah, these
Thank
right
you
here.
so much for the
Oops,
booty
upside
shorts
down.
and the Ranger panties and the 2 stickers.
My
man.
pleasure,
I
my
greatly
pleasure.
appreciate. Those are going on the desk.
My pleasure.
But so you have this journal, this log, if you will, of like, I'm gonna do this, I want to do that, I want to look at this. Has that brought anything to fruition? Like, have you had time to harvest the fruits of that log or that journal
I've been
since
able,
having been back? Because you've been back now, how long?
I got back in
From
August.
Iraq. From Iraq in
Uh,
August.
In August. So what would that be? 4 or 5 months? 5 months?
Damn, you've only been back 4 months, 5 months.
I'm,
August 23.
Math was not my strong suit.
August 23.
Yeah, this past August. Mm-hmm.
September, October, November, December, yeah, 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
That's how infantry do math, by the way. Yeah, and then I run out. I gotta sometimes take my shoes off.
At this point, I just I break out the cuffs and the badge, and that's, I don't even bother counting. Military police do not resist.
Yeah.
Dung, dung, dung.
4 months and change. So,
4 months and change.
Have you had time to harvest the fruits of this journal, this log that you had?
Not as much as I would like, because funny enough, when I got back, I then was talking to the lead National Guard recruiter in my area, and he found out I had some experience previously with the Marines, and also this story or experience with Iraq.
Nice.
He's like, "Hey, would you be curious of coming on the team recruiting with us?" And I was like, well, yeah, I'll go ahead and do it. So I've done that since the very beginning of October. The Fall Fest was my first, we'll say, foray into National Guard recruiting.
Nice.
So that eats up a lot of time, at least to do the job well. And I have not put as much into it. I have things laid out as far as like there's a few photo shoots that are coming down this like spring, because I'm determined this spring to, we'll say, revamp, because I have not done very much with Warrior Mojo stuff, the apparel company, in the last couple of years. Because again, everything, it's me, myself, and I, as far as anything social media wise or funding. It's not any outside influence per se. So,
I get you.
Mm-hmm. So I last year I didn't do, well, I was gone, so I didn't do anything outside of selling some shirts and stuff to like my fellow service members. In the year before that, I was also not doing a whole lot. Well, I was then going, 2022. All right, we got to do the YouTube thing and get some more
And then you got
traction.
nabbed up.
And I got nabbed up.
Yep.
And so, really, since again, I'm embarrassed to say it, but since 21, really, I've not done a whole lot with it.
But you're active though. I'm looking at your top 5 videos here, and it's 3 months ago, 3 months ago, 3 weeks ago, 1 month ago.
Yes. So when I came back, I was like, that was one of the main things I was writing notes with, saying, okay, I gotta do YouTube, because YouTube is still, I believe, a gold mine that still has some gold left in it. I think it'll be around for a bit longer than some other social medias that might start to die down.
I don't disagree. I think that if you can become if you can traverse the YouTube, algorithms and find ways to get your videos in front of people's eyeballs, dude, I think that people are on there all the time.
Yes.
What was it like though? So when you become a recruiter versus like the recruiters that recruited you, what are you doing different? Like, are you
spicy hot take?
I feel like a lot of people, they get like a recruiter that comes in, but they like the recruiter's just there to sign you up. Are you like low-key like mentoring them through like the process through PT and getting ready, or
this is I'm gonna sound like the salesman part of recruiting, but I try to look at myself not just as a recruiter wanting to get numbers. I almost want to look at myself as like a career counselor, because again, the national.
God, you're so nice.
Yes.
Jesus
you wonder
Christ.
why I was
You're so fucking.
why I was
nice.
invited, saying, hey, why don't you come be a recruiter?
You're so nice.
I'm easy
dude.
to talk to, man.
I'm a counselor.
Exactly. Please sit down. Let's talk about your life.
Yeah, Brian's re-enlisting after this episode.
How are you feeling today?
Yeah, you want to get back in? We got waivers.
I'm 33, bro. My
Hey,
time.
no, you're
my
still
time
good.
is done.
I got you until 35, and even then, we can go up to 40.
I don't want to make you guys look bad. Honestly, is what it is.
It would just make me look bad.
They couldn't even wait out in the snow for you. What do you mean?
dude. It's that's Tom. That's probably the best question you've asked in a long time for any guest, and I don't know why, but that resonates with me well. So his question is, when you were recruited, what are you doing anything different as a recruiter? You know what I mean?
No.
And you're saying
that's a great question too. So actually, one reason I actually wanted to do it and tried it with the Marines first for a brief time, I had a very good experience with my recruiter with the Marines.
I think you were the only one.
I honestly am one of the few because
I loved my recruiter. He didn't ruin my life.
Great guy. I mean, if Randy Meyer is watching, a fantastic guy. Please call me.
We got to tag this guy, Randy Meyer.
I've tried to find him.
I'm gonna Google him.
I've tried to find him. He for sure he's a first sergeant by now, but he actually might be retired by at this point. I don't know. Either way, he just was, for one, just talked to me straight. He didn't bullshit me with
Cut
anything.
the fat.
And like when we were talking first time, because I didn't try again. If we were jumping way back when we talked about my dad was the Marines and stuff, again, he didn't try to make me go. When I first looked at the military as an option, I tried the Air Force, and he was a terrible recruiter because I went in there, I sat it in, I was just like, hey, this is what I want to do, and I want this job as security forces because I'm going to school for criminal justice. I think it would be good for a resume. And he was like, great, all right, let's get this started. And I was like, but I don't want to leave until I finish the semester. And he was like, ooh. And his words were, and I quote, why don't you come back here when you're ready to take this more seriously?
Damn.
And I was like,
stinger.
I was like, hell no, I'm out of here. So then when I met this Marine recruiter, he found me when I was working, as they always do.
Yeah.
Again, he just talked to me straight. I told him, this is what I would want, this is what I want to do, And he's like, let me look into it. And he went, and sure enough, he got what I wanted. And again, at least I never knew that he lied to me. And like, he came after I enlisted. He came to like my family Thanksgiving. He was just always there.
Was he from fucking Minnesota too?
No.
Jesus fuck Christ!
I think he was from North Carolina.
Whole bunch of fucking nice people.
No,
dude.
so like I said, to circle back to answer your question, he was a really good positive influence to me at the time I needed and a first impression of the military.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, I want to be like him. Because I mean, you find in the military either they be NCOs or staff NCOs, senior ones, whatever, that you're like you want to embody in one form or fashion, or maybe the ones you absolutely don't ever want to be like.
Yeah.
And he was one of them because I can't say nothing but good things about him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was after a few years of being with the Marines, I was like, man, I would love to try recruiting, even though I am in the reserves if I ever can, because I want to have an experience, give someone else an experience just like that, because I felt he helped me for the better of my life as a whole. Because the military has definitely been something very positive to me, and so it's kind of, to me, I don't want to say I want to give it back because that sounds like I'm shooting for something there, but my boss, if he's watching this, he won't want to hear this. But if I just got, you could say, one good enlistment, we'll say per month, but it's one person who actually it makes a difference for their life in a positive way, and they aren't just a number to me, then I feel like I will be doing my job well. Because I just want, again, to help someone. And if the military is not for them, that's fine. I hope they find success anywhere else. But again, with the National Guard especially, what I've learned, especially with kids who want to go to school or they just want to change their life, it really is something that can fit very well with.
When you say the military taught you some good things, I mention this to Brian often. What do you think some of those good things are? Like routine, schedule, workout? Like, what do you think?
I think, yes, those, but also like self-discipline, even like finding motivation when you push yourself beyond what you think you can do. At least that's what Marine boot camp,
like that Goggins, there's more in the gas tank when you think you're out.
Yes.
Yeah. Speaking of Goggins and gas tanks and stuff like that, do you listen to books, or are you like actively reading books? And if so, what do you think are some of like your top 5 biggest influential
What are some
books?
of your favorite reads if you are?
Ooh, that is a really good
Are you a
question.
reader?
I do like to read.
You have a top list? You got a top 2,
now
3?
The thing is, though, I read a lot of fiction as opposed to nonfiction.
I take fiction. So what are some
I
of your
don't
top?
take fiction.
What are your top reads?
Oh, that's such a tricky question.
Well, give me your top authors at least.
No, I'll give you. I'm just right now exploring in my mind. Okay, so I'm a big fan. He's niche mystery author William Kent Kruger. He's all of his mysteries are set in Minnesota.
Fucking Christ. I bet he's a fucking super nice guy, too. I can't even say anything bad about him because I know he's nice.
I met him over
you met him?
Skype once. I was going to do an interview. I think actually it was going to be a YouTube thing. That didn't end up working, but we at least talked over.
Do you think those miniature, like half ounce, like in normal cans, 12 ounces, do you think those 6 ounce cans, like somebody was like, Minnesota, you know what? That's a good marketing idea. Mini sodas.
Soda.
Then now you got the 6 ounce Sprites.
You better trademark that or something. Someone's going to jump on that.
They got all the mini sodas now.
Dude, is that a thing?
Yeah, where you see like the miniature
I was
Cokes.
talking, yeah. But I don't know if they have that name. You should jump on that.
Yeah, it should be like mini.
I'm all ideas.
It should be mini, like MINNE dash sodas. Like so it's implicative of like Minnesota.
If you're a local Minnesota person and you have a soda idea,
I don't know.
Let's brainstorm.
You do have to do regional though, because is it when you're going around? Do you say do you want a soda or do you want is a Coke or do you want a
mini soda?
Cola?
Around here it's Coke. Like,
yeah. That's what I was saying. So you're gonna have to do like regional based, I would think.
Right.
But okay. So we got the
I'll
niche.
I'll give you more.
Give me two more. Give me two more authors or books.
Oh yeah, for sure. One I really like is Cormac McCarthy.
Cormac McCarthy.
So you probably, No Country for Old Men. There was a movie. It was based on
he
him.
wrote No Country for Old Men.
Probably his most popular book is The Road.
Okay.
Yeah, he just passed away, unfortunately, this past summer.
Okay.
Yeah, but he's.
Somebody told me this same author the other day. We were talking about fiction at work.
This guy?
He said the guy that wrote No Country for Old Men. So it has to be this guy.
But I really enjoy it. I don't recommend his books to a lot of people because they're tough reads, but I highly recommend. Let's see. What's another?
Who's your number 3?
I don't know about number 3.
Are you a big history guy? You like history?
I do enjoy history more. I wonder if it's because I'm about to enter my 30s, and that's like the time when you're meant to switch over to like especially military history.
Fuck, what am I gonna do when I turn 30? I already balls deep in that stuff. I'm gonna go even
good for
deeper.
you. You're ahead of the game then. Just ordered a book on Napoleon. I don't remember the.
I just finished a 36-hour long textbook.
Oh, you did?
Book on
yeah,
Napoleon.
he just read a textbook.
I guess I was just inspired by the
film.
I didn't see the movie, but
Disappointment.
it was a disappointment.
And that's the general consensus too. A lot of people are upset about the film.
So like, I also read a textbook on Napoleon before I went to go see the movie.
They missed a lot. They missed a lot
because the director, I think, was like quoted. He was saying about, we're not worrying about history. We're just gonna
like the way
it's
the
art.
canon,
it's not history.
It's art. You know what I mean? Like the art behind it was very well, but they made him like he was kind of a simp for Josephine, but like he came up with some very good military strategies that they didn't talk about at all.
Yeah, he did. I think in the movie, I haven't seen the movie, but they cover obviously that time when they pushed the people onto the ice because that was historically accurate.
Yeah.
Like when he had his coronation, how he just took the crown, put on his head, and that kind of stuff. How far into his life did they go?
They kind of cover it all, but it's kind of choppy. Yeah. But it's
well,
choppy.
you can only fit so much
in
in 3 hours.
And then they do like a few like those 2 major little wins or whatever that you mentioned, but then they do like 2 or 3 major losses, and it's like he had so many more little things in there that they could have done that they just didn't.
He's just a fascinating character.
I think we can all agree Napoleon might be the greatest thing that ever came out of France.
Oh yeah,
that might be it. And maybe
I'm trying to rack my brain. Think of anything else.
Maybe French fries
or toast.
What other wins do they have?
No, that's a great point. Although
what other wins do they have? I'm not dogging the French.
I do have then a question since you just brought it up to rank in the 3 in the order.
Oh, I love questions for us. This is good.
We're turning this
this
around.
This is good. I love this. I love this.
The Days Grimm with Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
So pancakes, waffles, and French toast. How do you rank them?
Waffles number 1.
God, you're welcome.
No, I'm mad at him because he's trash. I can't stand that.
That's at the bottom.
I'll pick a waffle over any of those.
I would put crepes above waffles.
Crepes,
dude. I'll put a crepe.
What about scone? I'll fuck a scone up.
That's French
different
again, dude. Okay, for me, I'm going, dude. I'm like an American.
Okay,
I'm going flapjack.
I respect the hell of that.
And then I'm going French toast.
Okay.
And then waffle is like, if you're
If you
forcing me to
had-
put it in the lineup.
Yeah, I gave you the lineup because there's always one who's going to put it's the
They're
waffles.
disgusting.
Give me my
Oh,
Eggos.
shit.
The Belgians should be ashamed of the waffle.
What
How
about,
dare you?
What about podcasts? What are you doing for audio wise? other than the Days
I
Grimm,
say
you know
number
what I mean?
one is the Days Grimm by
Shout
all
out.
means.
Subscribe and like
For
our shit, dude.
sure.
But like, what do you think? Some of your top.
I am going to.
Are you in the podcast game? Are you watching podcasts?
here and there?
Who are some of the ones you go to?
I will be that cliche and say Joe Rogan is up
I
there.
think that's everybody.
He's the GOAT.
I mean, I enjoy the show. I'm not actually. I shouldn't apologize. I like the show.
He's the GOAT.
And shit, what's another one?
You
'Cause
can't do a podcast for 15 years and just not be the best at it. He's been doing it for a long, like 20 years or something.
I just listened to a few of like Theo Vaughn's ones since he started one not too long ago, right?
Yeah, it's
years
this
ago.
past weekend.
Yeah, his is good.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, because I was traveling with. Okay, and
Drew looks like Theo Vaughn. That's what we've been told. And I sound like him. And Tom
Probably the same
masturbates to
IQ.
him.
I've listened.
Same IQ.
I've listened to several of like Steve-O's Wild Ride.
Yeah, Steve-O's is good.
In
That's
the
fun.
trailer? Yeah, his
Yeah.
is good.
That one's fun. And shit, I mean, I know
We like comedy a lot.
You have to look up the
Comedy?
MFCEO
Yeah.
project.
So we do a lot of comedy podcasts, but there's some legit ones out there that do like historical stuff that I really get into too. So there's no shortage of podcasts out
no,
Like,
there's plenty out
if
there.
you're into like fucking cockroaches wearing fucking stilettos, there's a fucking podcast out there about it. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like, 100%.
for sure.
What piece of advice do you have for somebody that wants to go down the military path in life?
Damn, there you go.
That is
That's-
deep. That cuts deep. And I wish I
Well, you said you had such a positive
did.
outlook, and you don't now about
So-
the military.
No, and I still do for the most
Yeah.
part. I mean, obviously there's bullshit you're gonna have to deal with no matter where you go in the military, no matter what branch.
You're the right person to ask this question too.
If you say so.
Well, you're so goddamn nice.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? And it's just like
I just like Achilles, my mother grabbed me by the heel and dipped me in a river of chocolate.
I think that was Willy Wonka. But
hashtag Willy Wonka. I was gonna say the same thing. All right, no, but seriously, you're the right person to ask that question to. Like, if there's a young man or a young woman out there that is contemplating the military, what advice do you have for that individual? Are there options they should explore introspectively before they take the leap? Should they just take the leap?
should they
Are
do
there-
that pre-military physical training that they have?
Are there books they can read? Like, what advice do you have for somebody who's thinking about a young, gentle lad or gentle lady?
We got a big following of 18 to 25-year-olds that are in that
We do?
enlisting range.
And I'm military, and they fucking like it when we talk about military shit.
What do they do?
They do. We get good numbers on it. So, like, this is your time to shine. So, what's your piece of advice for a young lady or a young man thinking about the military?
Honestly, I highly recommend to think on it hard. Talk to people who are either who have served or are serving currently. You can't do your research enough. Obviously, I can be biased because of the job I'm in right now, but no, look at all the branches. Which one which one you go for? I mean, again, I'm very proud of my service with the Marines, and I will until I die. But there's reasons that I obviously made a transition over because there wasn't a lot of opportunities left for me with the Marine, and the Guard offered them. I mean, in the last under 2 years I've been with them, the few requests I have had as far as I wanted to go on deployment. Oh, they gave me one. I wanted to do an active duty National Guard job where I live. They gave it to me as with recruiting here. I wanted to go to another like occupational school essentially, and it's going to happen this upcoming spring for me. So it's they have again. I'm just selling the Guard. Do your research. If you are seriously consider it, I obviously highly recommend to getting into some form of physical fitness, and it can be as simple as doing push-ups. It can be simple as planks, things that you can do at home. Running is a huge thing, no matter what branch you go in.
They want you to run.
They want you to run. But again, each branch offers something different, and I mean that in a good way and a bad way.
I think safe to say, if you don't like water, there's 3 you can rule out: Coast Guard, Navy, Marines. Fucking steer clear.
I got a question for kind of the both of you. We might actually cut this from the episode if it's not up to par.
Oh, I love these
So,
questions.
well, like,
Go
the
for it.
military is for the people, to protect the people, to protect and serve, correct? I mean, in theory.
This is getting cut. I
Right.
can already tell.
But so, like, well, I was going to say, so, like, what would happen if there was some sort of, like, civil war, or, like, say something was
National
rigged
Guard.
and the country kind of splits? What do you think, like, some military people or, even the police will, like, stand up with the people, or do they immediately stand up for the government? Or do you see a split through the military where they pick sides?
I'm going to answer this before Morgan even weighs in. That is the exact reason the Guard was created.
No, he's right.
They're funded by the state. So when the Union of the
So if this state's red and the next state's blue, and it divides based on that.
However the Union were to divide, hypothetically, East and West, North and South, if that were to ever happen again, what will wind up happening is, federal forces, I don't know how to answer that portion of the question, like your active duty guys that are federal, or even the reserves that are federally funded, but the Guard has been put in place for that exact reason. So at the very, very least, a state can defend itself accordingly in any circumstance. And I don't know what your thoughts are, but I'm pretty sure that's why the Guard was enacted.
No, I agree with you. I mean, it was
When did Google when the Guard
like
started?
16. I'm not going to try to guess the other part of the year, but it was Massachusetts was the first National Guard is created, and it was for like the militia.
Yeah.
Aha!
December 13th, 1636,
Bro,
Massachusetts.
dude, you just creamed me, bro.
Well, it's not like I haven't looked this up before because.
But you creamed me
I gotta
there.
I gotta be able to talk
in
about
a
the National Guard.
non-sexual way. You just creamed my ass, dude.
I mean, $20 is $20.
Dude, under a bridge, who cares? Laws do not apply at midnight under a bridge. No, that's interesting. But yeah, that's why it's there. They respond to national tragedies and emergencies within their states and abroad, obviously. But dude, fucking that's why it's there.
I mean, the hypothetical you're asking is also, I won't say extreme, but
it's not extreme.
It's 2024.
I would say, on the other hand, who the hell knows? There is a movie coming out this year that is called literally Civil War, and it's about like a new divide in like the current year. I think maybe slightly distant future.
Fuck, that's hot.
It's
prepping us.
directed and written by a guy, Alex Garland. He did Ex Machina and Annihilation. So
Machina. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
It's I'm
2024.
I'm curious to see how whatever story, however they're doing it, is going to play out.
They just stole the thumbnail from what was that one? 2020. The part where the world like fucking froze over.
I mean, this movie probably wrote
same fucking thumbnail.
This movie probably wrote itself. I mean, and Nick Offerman is the president of the United States. Oh dear.
Oh Christ, we're in for a fucking twirl.
I also saw this. Why Marines love short shorts.
Yeah, dude, for the dance moves.
Absolutely.
Since the 1970s.
What do you think the reason is? And we can wrap up here shortly. But what is the reason behind the Ranger panty? The Marines.
I don't know the history behind it.
It's standard issue for the Marines. You guys just run in Ranger panties. That's your standard issue is the short green shorts. But like in the Army, the standard issue is just black, knee long PT shorts. But like the Rangers, obviously, they take pride in their Ranger panties. But like, where does it come from? The silky is what it's referred to as.
Silkies.
Yeah. Where does I don't know. What's the purpose?
I don't. If I was told,
I'm only asking you because you
It
have all
says
that
it was
historical
issued during
knowledge.
It says it was issued during the 1970s as a part of their PT uniforms. And then it became Ranger panties are silky smooth, nylon fabric, easily dryable and breathable, known as extreme short shorts with a 2-inch inseam.
So short.
Commonly known as silkies.
Giggity.
If you got a 3-inch dick, dude, we got fucking problems.
I mean, there's a reason why I joined the Marines.
That's why they put that hammock in there. Because, dude, like you can't have anything longer than a 2-inch ween or it's coming out.
Yeah.
That's why that little.
That's why they're called the few and the proud.
Yeah. No shit, dude. What? So we did the advice. What if? Okay. So one thing we like to ask everybody on the show is time of darkness type stuff. So like you're in the military, so overcoming adversity is a thing that you do and you do it often. So like has there ever been a journey or has there ever been a time in this journey, and it can be with the military or it can be with Warrior Mojo, but has there ever been a time in either of those paths where you were like, fuck this is dumb, you just get fed up, something bad happens and you just get fed up? what was that instance that happened? But then also, you haven't quit either of those. So, more importantly, God bless you, by the way. More importantly, what is it that kept you going past that horrible happenstance? And then I'll let you take the floor.
No, it's a great question too. I'm trying to think more applying to both the military and Warrior Mojo. I can think of a time, and this is an embarrassing story, but it's true. I'm not shared it with many people. When I was at Marine boot camp, which was again very challenging, very taxing. I don't remember how deep we were in. I'll say like halfway through. And I'm sure someone screwed up and we were all punished for whatever egregious act we committed all together again and again and again. And when there was we were going to go into what we call range week, which was going to go out to the range in Qual. And we had heard stories as far as people had snuck whatever round or whatever they could, since we always have to keep our M4 with us, sleep with the gun. There was a few times we heard people taking, ammo back to the barracks, essentially. And there was a moment of, I had thought to myself, if I got one round, and maybe if I shot myself in the foot, could I go home now? I was like, I didn't want to kill myself, but I wanted to injure myself enough to where I could leave, because I was like, I don't think I can do this. Luckily, I talked myself out of it, or I was just like, no. It was kind of like, how would I face myself later on? Because I was warned this was going to be one of the most challenging things of my life, those 13 weeks of hell. So like, I can suck it up and push through. And I wish I had like a specific like eureka moment of, yes, now you can get through this. Because again, it was just hard and harder and harder. But it just literally the simple idea of like, take the next step forward and take the next step forward.
How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
Exactly.
I was going to say with a village, because you kill an elephant, you're not going to be able to eat it all before the meat goes bad fast.
But that's, to add to your point, though, is that like, it was almost also Tom has a strong point, the village situation.
True.
But
teamwork.
Alone by yourself in a dark room, how do you get through this terrible situation? One more step.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
I have had my share of those days, and that's honestly one reason with Warrior Mojo that has kind of stuck with me, and why I like to post like motivational and inspirational stuff, because I need to hear that kind of shit sometimes. Motivation is temporary. That's true. And motivation can just be bullshit in the sense
It's a fugazi.
yeah, exactly.
It's a fugazi.
It's temporary, but it is a little bit of that, you might say, turbocharge, or that little bit of fuel that might just push you to take a step or to literally get up the next day. Because, again, with Warrior Mojo, at least what I had, what I've said for years, like, you don't have to have served in the military or be a fitness junkie or be some millionaire entrepreneur thing to be a warrior. It's a warrior mindset is what I believe in. And that can be, again, as simple as that you are just, again, trying to get up in the morning to get changed and go to work. Or you are just trying to get through, again, like a weekend that you had to do extra work from home, but you are just struggling to focus on whatever that is. It's, again, just a mindset. I strongly believe, don't remember if this is Marcus Aurelius or Seneca, but it's attitude is everything. I mean, if you can at least train yourself to change your attitude in the day, to, again, be positive to the people around you, that can make and break someone's day. So if you're not doing, you should at the end of the day or at the beginning of the day, you should do and take those steps for yourself, ultimately. But also think about how maybe you're doing this for someone else. It could be family, it could be friends, but ultimately do it for you.
It could be you in 5 years or 8 years.
It could be. Exactly. I love that as well. You're looking at yourself, again, down the road. What can I look back on and be proud of? Did I actually push through that hard time? Or did I just fall over? And it's okay to fail. It's okay to fail. That's what people, including myself, fear, I think, a lot, is just if I try and I fail, and then
you're stuck.
Like, exactly.
You're like, now you're beside it.
Yeah, but if you don't try, you'll never know. And
if you don't fail, you don't know how you're going to...
Life is full of just, one failure after another, but
maybe you're at least falling forward. Maybe is better looking at.
It's interesting that you say that. I like to think about what you just said as if like it is about you having that positive mindset and that whatever to take that next step, but then also the attitude portion is really important because like you said, it could be for your family or for your friends or a coworker, but more importantly, there's a poor son of a bitch on a fucking bus somewhere that is like going home with a loaded, you know what I mean? Like, this is it. He's at the end of the road.
Yes.
But he bumps shoulders with you, and maybe you sit down and share a seat with him, and you just have a conversation. And if you're positive, and if your outlook is that, if it just wins him over in the moment, that's one more step forward for homeboy that was literally at the end of his rope. You know what I mean?
Not to turn things any morbid, but again, a Marine.
I love morbid.
Well, a Marine that was at my unit, a friend. I wish I was closer to. We literally did a weekend drill, and Sunday everyone was dismissed, went home, and I believe it was that night, if not that following day, that he was found dead.
By suicide.
Yes, and I had seen him on Sunday. I had conversations with him, not much of one, but he seemed fine. And you just never know when maybe the last time you're talking to someone. And at the very least, if you are, again, giving a little bit of yourself in a positive way to them. And so I do strongly believe, and you can call it either spiritualism or not aura, but if you, again, are giving a little bit of yourself forward to someone, again, in some kind of positive way, whether it be words, some people you could say like hugs or a physical affection in some kind of way. It doesn't take much effort for someone to give a little bit, if that makes sense.
And that's one thing I really like about your Instagram page, and we have it on screen now, is like you have the suicide hotline like in your links, as one of your quick links.
And that's it's huge.
I'm not trying to set myself above anyone else for putting that up there. There are so many times, again, where people, they just need to talk. And now it's one thing that they have to crack open to talk, but sometimes just, again, even if, or just being available to them, if it's sitting around and listening, you could be talking about, they could be talking about, again, just like movies or something like that. Is something when I've had dark times and I've been with someone, we're just talking about those mundane things that have helped me get through hard times.
That could be the moment.
That could be the moment.
That could be the deciding factor.
Yeah.
In that moment, in that one step, in that day, that they're like, I'm not going to fucking myself tonight.
And just as the years have gone on, and I hate that this is the case, I've had friends who have come very close or have attempted, again, to hurt themselves. And while we live in a great country, and I believe so strongly in the power of choice, I don't think anyone should either harm themselves or others. So anything really outside of that, fair game for choice. But we definitely need to
pro euthanasia like Canada.
Dude, those fucking Canucks are buck wild up there, dude. They don't fuck around, dude. It's just ice hockey, maple syrup, and fucking Canadian whiskey, dude. They're just doing it different, dude.
Sorry,
those are basically your cousins. So fucking,
they really are. I mean,
settle down over here, dude.
Let me get these salts real fast again.
Isn't like Canada like a quiet loft over like a really crazy party?
Oh, 100%. That's a good way to put it. And then Mexico is like the basement where all the drugs are.
Love it. I think that was actually. I think that was Robin Williams that said that the Canada being a loft.
Lost him way too soon.
Love him.
Any last minute shout outs? Who got you to where you're at? Who's keeping you going?
Dates, we're doing a recruiting thing, whatever you want.
Location where somebody can try to do more pull-ups than you.
Video releases or anything. This is all, last couple minutes is all you.
And before you do, hoorah!
Damn.
Love it.
All you.
All me. Okay. Well, I wish I had an event right now to plug, but I don't. Honestly, Warrior Mojo, we're coming back this year is the goal. I'm confident we'll be doing good. I got some new designs, got some new merch. If anyone, obviously right now, as you're looking on the website, it is still under construction. I hate to say,
I am not the best tech person when it comes to the internets, so I gotta get on top of that. But I have people interested. Anyways, we'll come back to that later. Obviously, please do your if you could subscribe to the YouTube channel. That is going to be probably the number one place that I will be posting any of my stuff. Best place to reach me right now is honestly Instagram. I'm active on Instagram, and that's where I will be sharing any more of my fitness journey, or again Warrior Mojo merch launches that we'll be doing. Trying to think more from there. But yeah, I mean, for me this year, obviously I'm working with my job, but I'm also trying to push forward with my Warrior Mojo stuff, which is me. If I didn't say it before, so I mean, Warrior Mojo again. I explained it before as far as the mindset, and that's kind of like the mission, company goal. But actually, the Mojo part is I originally when I was looking up to see the domain that was available and stuff, I thought of pretty cliche stuff like Warrior Spirit or like Warrior Mana and stuff like that, and then I found Warrior Mojo. Well, it's because I've had to explain this to several people. So I'm Morgan, but I'm a Morgan Joseph.
Okay.
So it's Warrior Mojo, it being me. So I'm kind of tying myself to my brand.
There you
So
go. Mojo is just like that.
And Mojo just
you got that
flows.
funk, dude.
Got that
Mojo's
flow.
like you got that fucking
I
You know
never,
what I mean? You
never
got that
lose my
walk.
mojo, baby.
You got that walk, dude. You got that Austin
That
Powers.
swagger.
Yeah, exactly. The swagger.
yeah.
Swagger is synonymous with mojo.
Oh, you betcha.
Oh yeah, bud.
So, but yeah, I mean that's
Who's got you here? Shout outs, man. Who's gotten you to where you are, and who's getting you to where you're going? You know what I mean? But if you say their name, you have to tell them about this episode. So you got to let them know. Like,
only it makes sense.
Exactly, dude.
I thank myself for giving myself. No, I mean, man, I have been so not just lucky, but blessed in my life as far as people who've. I am. While as much as I enjoy the words of self-made, I don't consider myself self-made. I am a combination of many people giving me time and energy and effort. So, I mean, obviously, I was blessed with a very good family. So, mom, dad, and also my siblings, Ian and Heather. Thank you very much for making me the person I am today. And gosh, I'm trying to think of other big shout-outs that I have to do. Again, I say again, Randy Meyer, wherever you're at, and for starting my career in the military.
Hell yeah.
Gavin Brothers, Papa Brothers, thank you for taking a chance on me. And let's see here. I think that's about it right there.
All right, man. Make sure you send the link to this episode to all those people, man, dude.
I absolutely will.
No, but
I want this episode, to blow up.
That's what I'm saying.
Selfishly, I want you to blow up too. But
thank you, dude. We want Mojo to blow up, man. We're subscribed. We're waiting for the website, just like everyone else, dude.
I saw it.
You can go to the website and you can punch in your email, and it'll notify you whenever it's up and running. So, but yeah, man, I'm looking forward to what you got coming down the pike, dude. I think you got a extremely overwhelmingly positive attitude. You're obviously way too nice. So maybe work on your insults or something. I don't know, like a mean face or maybe like bad jokes or something.
It's hard to when I've not been accused of really having too much of like an angry face with this baby face. Yeah. I wish like I could never be a DI because they would just see it and they would just like and they would just start laughing at me. So
fucking jeez, you are
the best I can do is like passive aggressive, but even then it's
like a post-it note, like, hey, don't forget to wash the dishes.
Yes. Yeah. No, that's probably that's
right up your alley.
That's
but
right
no,
up my alley.
Morgan, I'm so pumped that we got to meet you tonight. We've been working on this for probably over a month now, so I'm glad we got you locked in. You could have done anything for the last 2 hours, but you sat in with the Days Grimm and had a conversation with us and told us your life story and some not so comfortable stories, and I appreciate that. So
my pleasure.
Seriously, thank you so much for your time, brother. This has been another thrilling episode of the Days Grimm. My name is Brad Michael Day.
My name is Thomas Grimm. This has been Morgan
Hauer. Thank you so much, Morgan.
Thank you very much.
Really fucking brings the Lord into